Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday version of the show. Hopefully you are doing okay. I think I forgot my slides, so let me pull them up. That's what happens whenever I'm working on little sleep, but not a problem. We can adapt and overcome. Let me get this set up correctly. There we go. Now we're closer. All right, guys, welcome to Break the Cycle with DSD. I am your host, Duane. I am not a therapist, nor am I an attorney. I'm an individual much like you who has gone through a tough experience and had to develop some tips and techniques over the years that to help me get through it that I share with you to help you get your life back, minimize the damage of toxic people, and rebuild and strengthen the relationship, well, in a lot of ways with yourself and your children. Remember that only a licensed professional can diagnose somebody with a personality disorder, so be careful throwing those terms around. I know I say it every day, but it's a good reminder just to make sure that you don't get yourself into any trouble. If you like what's going on here, you can become a channel member, and I really do appreciate it when people do that. The numbers are eking up. And when you do that, you get special badges, custom emojis like the boop emoji, your name listed in the credits, access to member-only events, which I think I'm going to do one this Saturday, and access to the member-only DSD Discord. If you want to get a text notification of when the show goes live, just text DSD Live to 844-598-0012. That's 844-598-0012. Works within the United States and Canada. Unfortunately, I can't find a solution that works in the UK or outside of the United States and or North America. If you want to call in and participate in today's show, you can do that by dialing 1-424-373-5483, 1-424-DSD-LIVE. And on that, wow, even with the little problem, I was able to keep my timing better than I normally do. Imagine that. Well, today's topic that I wanted to hit is why is it so difficult to stop thinking about a toxic ex? This is one of those things that just floored me and floored me when I was going through it, and continues to floor me when I see so many people stuck in the same mode. They're just wrapped up around what's going on, which, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, these situations are so devastating, and oftentimes we are just left shell-shocked, confused, don't understand why they are doing what they're doing, and you get stuck in this infinite do loop. And since I've been trying to do more programming lately, I actually did that the other day. I got my computer stuck in an infinite do loop, and I forgot how to cancel out of it. I was like, oh crap. But what happens is you just get, it's like this, you just keep going in a circle, and there's like no off ramp. You're just going around and around and around. And you keep looking for the off-ramp, for the exit, and it's just not there. Now, one of the things that I think is very common, and we discussed this a little bit yesterday. Hold on, I got to get my cables in the right clicked in area. And that's, we tend to think that they are thinking about us, that they are sitting back strategizing how to make our lives a complete and colossal living hell. The reality is, you guys often hear me talk about gift with purchase. That's kind of their gift with purchase. You know, they're not actively trying to undermine our not undermine us, but to get us to be thinking about them, are doing something to really malicious. Well, it's all malicious, but what I'm trying to say is it's not like they're sitting there going, what can I do that's the worst possible thing? The reality is, at a basic core level, they're able to do that without even thinking about it, right? It's their core nature. It's their own fight or flight response. And they're just doing what they're doing, creating all this chaos and damage. And you're sitting there and you're trying to come to grips with the fact that everything that you thought was before all this point was real, and it's really just an illusion. The problem is that there's multiple layers to this, and each one is incredibly painful. You start out with I don't know how you want to do it. We'll start at the top. You start out with the destruction or the failure of the relationship, and you think that that's bad. And then it starts with the smear campaigns and all the activities to try to basically just ruin your credibility, ruin your reputation. Then it's the triangulation with your kids and family and anybody else that'll listen to them. And all along the way, you're just stuck going, what in the hell is going on? And every time you think that you have some understanding of what's happening, something new happens. So it's not even like you really get an opportunity, especially at the beginning of this, to really sit down, heal with what's going on, grieve the loss of everything. It's like every time you turn around, you're getting nailed with some new and exciting event that you just didn't even see coming. Bottom line, you feel cheated and betrayed, that it wasn't real, that it was fake. And when I say cheated and betrayed, I'm not talking about the obvious cheating and betrayal. I'm just talking about the emotional betrayal that you have when you open yourself up to somebody so willingly, and they just take everything they possibly can. They just, gobble it up. And at the same time, they're just using that information, not in a genuine, caring, loving way, but as little data points that they are going to be able to use or that they intend to use later to basically attack you. You're dealing with a situation where once all this stuff starts happening, on top of just being in a mode, I guess, where it's like, okay, this is bad. It's like, all right, let me take every deep, dark secret that you've ever shared with me in your lifetime, whether we experience it together or whether you just shared it with me to help me understand who you are. I'm now going to use that to just basically take the knife and just stick it at the most vulnerable part, because they know your most vulnerable parts. And they know what's important to you. Oftentimes it's children and reputation and everything you built. And it's a crushing experience to go through. And the entire time, you're left basically chasing that original connection, or in some ways, a lot of people call it a high, that original high that you had when you were first in the relationship. And you're still trying to reconcile, people are still trying to reconcile that love bombing, that mirroring that you went through. I think most of us are looking for the right person, looking for the person that really connects. And you go your lifetime and you interact with people and they're just normal, right? They express themselves and they have their own wants and needs and they communicate those, and sometimes you go left and they go right. And other times you meet somebody who systematically comes to the table and represents themselves as the exact person that you would be looking for. How do you not fall head over heels for somebody who is playing you? And the reality is you don't think, or you do not expect that anyone would do that. You assume that somebody, when they come in and they're telling you what you think is their deep, dark secrets, and they're being vulnerable to you, you think that it's honest, that it's genuine. And the sad reality is it's a strategic move on their part to tell you what you want to hear, to basically lull you in even more. And the sad part is that, when you realize that it was fake, you can get really frustrated with yourself because, how did you get rushed into, and this is typically what happens, is you get rushed into a long-term relationship with one of these people. They're able to basically put that time limit on, right? Like whenever you see something, it's like, for a limited time only, for the next 25 minutes. If you sign up, you get an extra bonus. Or, for only 25 more minutes, this is the only time that this will be offered. And that's what happens. It's like you basically get this thing. It's like, well, hey, here I am. I am your soulmate. I know I'm the perfect person for you. But I'm only available if you marry me and let me move in, put me on all your accounts. We intertwine everything right now. Because we were talking about this yesterday. Doesn't that just sound freaking, how in the hell do we get wrapped into? I know I got wrapped into that. I remember that. I remember thinking, oh my God, Pumpkin could get away. My soulmate might not, if we don't lock this down, it might not work. What the hell was I thinking? It's crazy. But I did. And most of us do. And then when everything starts going to crap, you start looking for that person that was never really there. And we don't recognize that slowly things start to change. It's like using the analogy of the frog in the pan. If you drop it in a hot pan, it's going to be like, holy hell, nope, I'm hopping out of this. Burn my little feet. But when you do it slow, over time, you don't recognize it. And bottom line, and this is really the key for any interpersonal relationship, any professional relationship. If someone's actions do not follow their words, you have to look at what they're actually doing. Somebody can tell you everything you want to hear, but if they're not doing it in a way that their actions follow it, that is exactly what you have to look for. And that is the monologue for this morning. I did see some comments and questions, so let me try to find those. Let's see, I saw one from Volser. Let me see if I can find it as I scroll up. Volser says, how do you stop blaming yourself for the failure? Well, I would say this. You have to look at it differently. It's not your failure. If you want to say, how do you stop blaming yourself for your failure of not being able to discern that somebody was lying to you? Well, the problem is, that's the first part of it. The problem is that they're not openly lying to you at the beginning stages. They're telling you what you want to hear. So if they're coming up to you saying, okay, let's say hypothetically, take me. If somebody was to come in to my life and say, oh my God, I am so into cameras and videography. Now, you would think that they would be have some equipment and be doing that. But let's say they're not. And let's say that, and then the excuse is, oh, I just never had the money. I always wanted to learn how to do that. And it's been one of my passions that I've never been able to experience, right? That's one thing. And then you start talking about the future. Oh, I always wanted to live in a certain area, or I always wanted to be in this type of house. Oh, you're into camping? Oh, I used to do that when I was younger and I want to do that now, right? I mean, it's like they adapt to basically tell you what what you're wanting to hear. Then the flip side to it is that once you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter what you do. They're on a path of destruction. And really the reality is it's on us to, whenever we finally get to the point to say, I'm done. I'm not doing that anymore. And talk about failure. I mean, to get back with what you were asking, Volser. 2 decades. I was in my situation for 2 decades, like basically 21 year. The 21-year mark is when everything went to hell. So I put up with that for that long. And ultimately, you just have to realize that you did everything to try to make it work. And it's not necessarily your fault. You tried everything to make it work. So, and then your second part about that, and that your kids are going to have a harder life. It's just one of those things where it is what it is. You know, I mean, things happen to people all the time. People get sick, they get hurt in accidents, and you can get caught up in, why me or whatever, but it's just, you got to just pick up the pieces and salvage what's going forward and do the best to try to undo it. I personally believe in a lot of ways our kids potentially can benefit from this, because if they're raised in a situation where they understand toxic people, they understand healthy boundaries, they understand what to really expect from a relationship, that the likelihood that they're going to repeat these relationship mistakes that we made is a lot less. Now, obviously, if we're not able to connect with our child in a positive way, there's the possibility that they'll repeat everything. But the thing is that our eyes are now open. We see it. We have the ability to try to help guide our kids through this so that they don't do it. My ultimate goal out of all of this, and my ultimate success on this, would be one, just breaking free and having a good life, right? I mean, that whole, when people say the best revenge is a life well lived. And there's a lot of truth to that. I personally don't necessarily like that comment, because to me, it makes it feel like you're too focused on the ex. It's like, I'm going to live a good life in spite of the ex, which, there's truth to that, but I don't want any of you guys thinking about that. 5 to 10 years later from down the road, when your life is back on track and this is a distant memory, hopefully, I don't want you to be focusing an extra moment on your ex. I would rather you just be living a good life and going, wow, I can't believe, that I was all in a bad space back then. And I'm like down, not to the wire, but I'm getting close to where that's about where I'm going to be. The hold that the ex will have on me will be done for the most part, except for alimony, which is forever. And it's like I'll be kind of free. Well, not kind of, I will basically be. As long as I stay healthy and I'm able to work and able to pay my bills and start paying things down, I can start to recover from all of this. And the nice part about it is I can say now that I am happy. I'm not, let me back up. The mode I used to be in is oh my God, I'm stuck here. I'm going to be just spinning my wheels or sitting in idle for the next 12 years, waiting for this pit viper to release their claws, not claws, but bite, I guess, on me, so that I can start saving again. And I can start planning for retirement like 55, right? I mean, that's what I used to think. And that was corrupting every aspect of my day. I wasn't making any progress emotionally or mentally. I was just sitting there just burning time. It felt like I was sitting in a prison cell, staring at the same gray walls, trying to look out the bars. And it took me a long time to realize I'm not in a little box. I'm in a little box that I created for myself. I can sit and keep thinking about this, or I can start living my damn life and doing some things. And that's what I started to do. And that's what you guys will start to do as well. I like this. MFA says, DSD, the best revenge is letting go of revenge. It is. It's like, because as soon as you get to the point where they don't matter anymore, they don't have any power over you. It's like whatever you focus on, or when you're focusing on them, you're like empowering them. And as soon as you turn away, they like wither away. Now, there's a period of time where you're going to wish and hope that you could sit there and watch them at the corner of your eye, just flailing around in pain and agony. But there'll come a time to where you don't even care. It's like, whatever. If you're getting away with something and life is okay, I don't care. If your life is chaos, I don't care. It's hard though. It's hard to see that. Let's see here. All right, I got a caller, so I'm gonna go to that. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hey, Duane, what's up? It's Matt from New York. How are you?
I'm good, Matt from New York. How are you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain. We had that conference last night with the judge, and my wife and I were actually there.
Were you guys virtually there or physically?
Oh yeah, virtually, yeah.
So what happened?
So what happened was, in the run up to the meeting, my wife's lawyer forwarded us over a last minute proposal. This proposal was basically what I had outlined already, a 2255 plan.
Okay.
Except my weekend would end on Sunday evening, and instead of Monday morning. I mulled it over with my parents and friends and this and that for a while, and it's possible. At the end of the day, I said, no, to hell with this. In fact, I think she's drowning, and I don't want to throw her a life preserver. I don't want to be, petty either, but I've never been petty. I've been reasonable, just equal. So at the end of the day, so I went to my lawyers, and he's tough, and he didn't even entertain that with me at all, or try to sell me. We didn't even have to discuss it. He just said, yeah, this is, I don't know why they're doing this. They want to fight over one night. This is ridiculous. So I was like, oh, cool. He got on the phone with her attorney, on the speakerphone. I could hear them. And yeah, my lawyer definitely was the alpha in the room, which I was I never actually saw him in action. I was very impressed. At times I've been kind of waffling on him, but I liked it. He was
nice.
He was tough, which was really good. And her attorney was not as tough. I mean, I think because just it's less reason. He's out of gas. They got nothing. Like, why do you care about this Sunday? Why is this such a big deal? And he's got nothing. And the worst part is that I'm sure all parents go through this, especially when dealing with these people, is that her lawyer said that the father has never been involved up until now. My client has been the primary caregiver, and the father has not been involved. That hurt because.
Oh, she said she was saying she was a primary caregiver.
Oh yeah, like I said, like we both have always worked and stuff, but basically,
right. I know. That's when you first said that. I thought you were talking about you. It took me a second to realize that they were saying that. Well, who cares? They can say whatever the hell they want. So what ultimately did they agree?
It's just I can't believe she was okay. No, they did not. They did not agree to it. So then we got on the conference with the judge. Like I said, the judge literally sounded like a father's rights attorney. She was like,
Nice.
the child has two parents. The child has two parents. Yes. Yeah. And father wants to be involved. And she's like, listen, I don't care if he was involved, wasn't involved. He wants to be involved now. So that's it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, so what we got, they wouldn't agree to it, but what we got a temporary 50-50 custody order along the outline.
Nice.
Calendar I outlined.
That is awesome. And I just, hold on one second. I just want to say, obviously longtime listeners of the show are familiar with your story. So just a quick recap, I'll say. So the caller basically has been going through a high conflict divorce while living in the same house. His ex has just been trying to undermine his ability to be a father, doing crazy stuff like locking the cabinets and, taking the shower head off, all this kind of crap. Basically wanted the normal, you never get to see your kid except for whenever I say. They finally went into court. The judge basically said, this is a 50-50 case. If you go to trial, it's going to be 50-50. If you want to throw money away, fine. And now you're at the point to where the last time you called in, you guys had that conference. I think you might have said that you talked to the ex and she was not having it. And now you finally had this part of it.
Right.
Okay. So to catch everybody up, instead of them, I think that pretty much summarizes it. So what happened then when the judge said that? What happened?
It's basically what it is. Like her lawyer was trying. He was flailing around, kind of trying to say, she's been the primary caregiver and he hasn't been involved, and she didn't care about that. So he was at that point. He was out of gas. He had nothing left. So it was what it was. She was going to order it, and that's it. And she said, there's no orders of protection here. There's nothing here. That's it.
So,
she also said, because she doesn't know it,
No, I'm just, to get into where your temporary order, you're not even at the permanent order. Your temporary order is what you want the permanent order to be. It's like you won, man. Oh, she's got to be so angry.
I've always heard that, temporary orders have a funny way of becoming permanent. So it's definitely a good thing. I mean, now's the time where I'm sure she's going to ramp it up. There's going to be some crazy going on. So I got to keep my,
So are you going to, let me ask you this, now that you have a temporary order, are you now going to try to move out? Are you going to stay there until it's final?
I have to. The judge said they want me out by December 21st. We said, my lawyer said, I know my wife wanted me out of the house. She always wanted me out of the house. So my lawyer said, how long is it going to take you to get out of the house? I said 2 weeks. He said, all right, I'm going to come 3 weeks. So by December 21st, I have to be out of the house.
That is so awesome, dude. Because you're going to basically,
awesome.
Well, you're going to move out. But you're going to have a real order. So you're not going to fall in the trap that most people fall into, to where you move out and then the person unilaterally decides that you can't ever see your kids. You have an order. You already have a timeshare. If she starts screwing with it, she's violating a court order, and you go back to court, and it's just going to make things worse. Man, dude, I'm glad you called in. Because of all the times that you've called in and made comments before and been so terrified, and you've had your fucking friends, sorry to say it that way, but telling you, oh, Matt, well, you used your name, so I'll use your name. Oh, Matt, the state you're in, you're not going to get 50-50. No one gets 50-50, and you're living in freaking fear. And boom, you get everything. You get to go basically say, look, well, I got 50-50. I guess you guys were wrong. I guess that crazy dude on the internet was right.
I just kept what they say to guys and girls is right. You stick with it. Don't get scared.
Yeah.
Stick with it. If you want 50-50, just keep fighting for it. Don't get scared, and it happens. And it's pretty great. I mean, like that, it's not over yet. There's still more to go, but it's a big step. And
that's great, man.
I'm scared, but I'm excited because of course, when our son went to bed and everything last night, she came downstairs and I said, you want to talk about it? And she said, I have nothing to say to you.
I have nothing to say to you. You monster. How dare you take my children away from me? I don't know if she said that, but it wouldn't surprise me if she did.
Oh well, no, she did. She did a my child this morning. She did
Oh, of
that
course, yeah.
because she was talking about. I asked her if she was going to an appointment tonight that she usually goes to, and she said, "Yes, I'm going, and I'm going to be home to put my son to bed." She's in a bad mood, and she said last night she's like, "And it's only temporary." I just ignored her.
Oh, it's only temporary, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just fuck them. Sorry, I shouldn't even said that, but
yeah,
whatever, dude. You
I,
won, and I'm just glad you're getting out of that damn house so you can finally get your own place, and you can have time with your kid. If your little boy wants to make cookies, you can make damn cookies, and you don't have to worry about her freaking saying I was going to do that or I'm going to read him a bedtime story. You
That's
can't.
right.
I'm the mother. I'm the one who's supposed to do that, not you. God, you've been going through hell, and now by
It's
the
what they do. They're going to put you. These kind of people are going to put you through hell, so you quit.
Yeah, and you
Men,
didn't
women,
quit.
whoever it is, the narcissist is going to torture you until you break down and quit.
And you were close there a few times,
that's their
man.
goal.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, you get a little wavering, but again, I thank you for your support and what you do and passing on the lessons you learned. Because definitely, I took a lot of that to heart, and other people in the forums, you got to take those lessons because a lot of us don't know people that are going through this, especially with people like our spouses. Like, there's not that many people like this.
Or if you find somebody,
or
if you find somebody, they tell you the horror stories. Like, oh, I went through that and I lost everything, and I was living in my friend's, back of his truck or whatever. I mean, and you're just listening to it, going, "What the hell? What?" And yeah.
Yep.
So, hey, iTumblers asked a question. It says, hey, does Matt have any tips? So you have any tips for the people out there listening?
Ooh, tips. Jeez. Tips. Just stay the course. Don't make mistakes. Don't be baited into, especially, and men or women, but don't be baited into yelling or reacting or, she locks something. Don't try to take the door off the hinges. Just, you got to calm down. You play the long game. Exactly. You're going to have to take a lot of short-term stumbles, and it feels like you're giving in a lot. Just think the long game. That's what you got. That's what I did. And still doing it. And that's the best I can come up with on the fly.
That's good, man.
That kind of stuff.
All right, man.
And be the best parent you can be. Be the best parent you can be, mother and father. Just be there and do the best. Just be the best you can be.
Awesome, man. All right. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Man, I my cheeks are hurting from smiling so much. Guys, and if you've been around for a while on this channel, then you've heard Matt call in before, and you've seen probably the comments in the chat and stuff. But this guy, like most of us, has been through a living hell and had all the different ups and downs, and has navigated it as good as a person can. And that was great advice, what he was talking about at the end. You just have to stay the course. Or like what I always talk about, it's like focus on the war. Yes, you're going to lose some battles at the beginning, but are those really going to cause you to lose at the end of the day? Because you can win some battles in the beginning, and that can cost you the war. You got to pick your battles. You got to, like what Will says right here, you got to play the long game and just keep plugging along. That's great. T Solo says, lose your temper, lose your child. Exactly. And that's what they're trying to get you to do. They're trying to take their bony little finger and go boop right in your eye to get you to respond in a way to where you give them the victory. Don't give it to them. Don't clutch defeat out of the hands of victory. Man, that was a good story. I love that. I mean, I know we don't always get that. I mean, we have some hard days too, but it's good to hear. I mean, what we had, we got Matt, and then I even think I saw Craig in here before. He called in last week and was talking about his story. And I think it's important for people to hear it. And I think what's what's nice about, I mean, if you went back and you binged even just the live streams and you were able to like hear some of these people's stories and hear their transitions, I think it gives people hope, because the problem is that, let's say 2 years from now, you run into Matt and you're like, okay, well, he's got 50-50 and he did it right. And he's different than me. He doesn't feel the same way as I do. And the reality is we all felt the exact same way back in the day. Just like me, I didn't know I was going to be able to prevail on this. I thought I lost. I thought it was a freaking long shot that I was going to be able to get 50-50, that I was going to be able to stop the ex from leaving the state and taking the kids with her. But I just kept fighting. And I had so many people telling me, just give up. You're not going to win. The system's against you. You're in California. I'm in California. You're in California. You're never going to win. You have to be some superhuman person to get 50-50. And I'll tell you what I've seen over the years, over the 4 years of doing this channel, is I've heard more stories of people winning. I don't know if winning is the right word, but getting a better agreement. Let me clarify this. From people who get on the channel early and they're using this channel and like the Discord and the support systems of it to help them. Most of those people, the stories are good. Now, granted, there's been some people who find the channel who have made a ton of mistakes and are trying to dig themselves out of the hole. And even some of them, I've seen some positive progression. I mean, obviously, sometimes it's not, not the successes we would like. And the reality is if you what's the word I'm looking for? If you make some strategic mistakes, strategic for your ex, not for you, it can really set things into motion in a really, really tough way. There's ways to undo that. It's just really hard, and your opportunity for success is a lot less. Merge says, guys, since judges use so much discretion, this caller proves that if you go into court feeling fully entitled to 50-50 because anything other than that offends reality, just say so. It's the truth. And you know what? And that reminds me, one of the things that, and I didn't say it when the caller was on. When I went to, technically we only went to one hearing. We went to the temporary hearing, temporary orders were set. We went into conference hearings and stuff, and everything kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And partly that was because the custody evaluation kept getting delayed. And then finally, in my situation, the ex just, I think, ran out of money. The custody evaluation came back basically saying 50-50 and no move away, or because it was not a move away. Though they couldn't really say, I don't think legally they can say, oh, well, if you would have moved away, this is what it would be. It was more of like, okay, is this a move away or not? And it's like, no, it's not a move away. Okay, so we're only doing this as a non-move away. Anyways, my point is that when I was at that initial hearing, it was the same thing. The ex's attorney was saying, Mr. Duane is a scumbag and doesn't care about the kids, only cares about money, is this horrible emotional abuser, and just put this whole family through 2 decades of chaos and trauma. And my poor little butterfly of a client, Miss X Duane, is only entitled to everything that she could get, and these children need to be protected. Okay, I'm being a little melodramatic. Let me back that up a minute. Basically, they said I was a scumbag, that I only cared about money, that the ex was a primary caregiver, kind of like what Matt was saying, and that 80-20 every other weekend would be sufficient, would be an appropriate timeshare. And the judge basically said in open court, I was there for this, said, here's a guy who wants to be in the kid's life, wants to be a father. We need to encourage that. I should have taken that as a key. Now, he didn't turn around and say 50-50. What he did is says, okay, well, you're basically saying that this 40-year-old man who has never been involved with the kids, doesn't give a rat's ass about them, hasn't hit a lick around the house. Okay, all right. Well, we won't give him 50-50 because if that's the case, then that's a little much, and that could be traumatic for everyone. So we'll just ease it in. We'll do a couple of overnights. And I actually pushed initially. It was going to be, okay, you have every other extended weekend, right? So it would have been like Thursday night into Monday morning. So in other words, I would have, because X was like, well, the kids don't go to school from his house. My kids go to school from my house. They just visit him. She did say stuff like that. Anyways, I digress. My point is the judge is like, no, we'll give him some extra time. Basically, it was like, all right, Mr. Duane, if you, it's your opportunity to screw this up. Let's see if you can do it. And, it was irritating to me because I'm like, what? I've been in these kids' lives their entire life. Now it's like, well, we don't know. We don't know if you could handle holding they weren't, what was my youngest? 6? My oldest was 12? Come on. Anyways, but I was playing the long game. I'm like, all right, I ain't giving up. I'm not giving up until they freaking drag me out and say, you have lost, sir. You're done. Hand over your dad card. You will never see these kids again because you are a scumbag. And that's not what happened. I'll tell you, there were a few times where I thought that's exactly what was going to happen. And there were so many people around me who were saying, that's exactly what's going to happen. You are going to lose. They are going to take everything from you. They are going to destroy you. They're going to just strip you clean, throw you in the dirt, and then kick more dirt on you. And then you'll just be at your lowest point, and it's nothing but up from there. It's like, some of these people thought they were being positive. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, let me see. I want to grab this. Where is it? Down here at the bottom. Oh my gosh. I guess I've been not paying attention to the comments. Like a lone parent IR says, thinks that have different meanings to me now since DSD. Butterfly, pumpkin, little Susie, little Timmy. That's hilarious. Oh, you guys know me and my stupid little analogies and sayings. It makes me laugh and kind of adds a little, the reality is this is not an easy topic. And I'm just trying to add some levity into it and perspective and to help you see that though it might be catastrophic or feel devastating now, it doesn't mean that the pain that you're feeling right now is going to be the rest of your life. And I think going back to the caller, it's a great example of it. I mean, I don't know how many times, he would call in a panic, or I would see comments, and the way he was feeling, that he would have a better chance of winning the damn lottery than getting 50-50 with his kids. So, and the only thing I'll say is I hope that some people that get to the other side of this do stick around to provide that, even just that extra support in the channel. I mean, I understand that at some point, most people are going to get to the point where it's like, hey, you know what? I've got my life back. I don't need to listen to this stuff anymore. It's not, I don't need it. And honestly, that's been my goal, hopefully I will say that sometimes I do hope that people that get to the other side of this, when they got their life back, that maybe they'll come back and when things have turned around, they'll throw some money in the tin to help buy coffee and keep the lights on. And there's been a few people who have done that, who I've been very grateful for. And, it's just one of those things where it's almost like I envision this almost to where it's like many years later, when you're sitting on your deck, drinking your coffee, watching the sunrise or the sunset, and you're just thinking back about, man, that dude Duane helped me out. That I helped you out. That this was a thing that was there for you in your time of need and helped you get through. Because I tell you, when I was going through this, I felt so freaking alone. Nobody understood. The people who did understand were so freaking traumatized and still in their own trauma that it was just so hard for them to provide any. They provided support, but it wasn't in a way that made me feel like I had any hope. So iTumbler says, DSD just checked the statistics for fathers that get primary custodialship, and it's 20% as of 2017. This data was released by the Census Bureau in 2020. Well, see, here's part of the problem that I think that happens with this is most people walk into this nightmare assuming you're going to lose. Now, primary custodialship, I don't even have that. So, I'm a joint custodial parent. And technically, the way they have the ex classified in the system is that she's the custodial parent. God, that used to piss me off. Whenever I got the first paperwork from the Department of Child Support Services, and it said, you're the non-custodial parent. I'm like, F that. I'm a custodial parent too. Well, basically it means you're the pay, you pay, so you're the non-custodial and they receive, so they're the custodial. And it irritated the crap out of me. But anyways, my point was, I derailed myself on that. My point is this. You walk into family court expecting to lose. You hear all the crap and all the horror stories that, the system's rigged against you. There's no way to win. You're going to lose. Merge mentioned it earlier. You walk into court with your tail between your legs with zero confidence. So you're extruding no confidence. The judge looks at it and you're just like, you're already expected to lose. So you kind of accept defeat. You just accept the defeat. And and then it just sets this snowball effect down. Now, I get it. There are people who don't fall into that, right? Or you start this battle off, you think everything is fine, and then you get a crazy restraining order and the kids are pulled and it's just like, I've seen stories like that too. And what I'll tell you guys is stay the heck away from that information. If you're on a Facebook group and you're following somebody, because there's a few of them that I've seen where it's just like, everything's bad. I got nailed again, but I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to do whatever, and it's like, it's so easy to look at their defeats and try to extrapolate out that that's going to happen to you. But then look at the stories. It's like, what did they do? I've heard one story where a guy's like, well, I've lost my kids and everything's bad. And the one suicide attempt that put me in the hospital, they used that against me. Well, of course. Now, does that mean that, you can't overcome it? Yeah, you can overcome it, but now you've just added a whole hell of a lot more hurdles to jump through. You can't, here's the deal. If my ex did something like that, you could rest assured that I would have 100% said, man, these kids need to stay the hell away from that person and they need to be protected so that something other doesn't happen. Now, granted, some other people might say, okay, all right, let me back off. I'm trying to push this person to the breaking point, but it absolutely can be used against you. You got to be incredibly careful and understand that your actions do have consequences. But it's like anything in life, right? I mean, if you go into work, which unfortunately I have to do today, and go to your boss and tell them to go F themselves, do you think there's going to be a consequence out on the other side of that? Yeah, you know, you're probably going to get fired, if not severely reprimanded. But people leave those part of the stories out. You know, oh, I lost my kids. Everything's horrible. Well, what happened? Well, I got really angry at a soccer game with the kids, and I cornered the ex in the car, and people said that I was threatening her, and I got arrested. What? You think that might have played a role in it? You know? And I'm not saying this that if you're somebody who that's happened to, let's say let's say you're listening to this right now, and don't comment on this. I mean, I always want you to, if this is you, just go, oh crap, yeah, that's me. So now you got to like, okay, so that happened. Now you have to start working to undo it, to basically turn around and demonstrate that, okay, yeah, maybe you were a little angry or you did something wrong, but here's the steps that I'm going to do it. I used to talk about this in my older videos. It's like, if you're in that mode, you go to the anger management classes, you get into therapy, you start working the issues. You want to be able to come in and say, you know what, this experience has been a wake-up call for me to improve my life, and these are the things that I've done. I've gone to these courses. Here's my certificate. Here's a report from an affidavit from my therapist on how I'm doing. Give them all the information to show that things are changing, that you're trying to be a better person. The problem is that we get into this mode and it's like, I ain't going to therapy. I don't have a problem. They have a problem. Okay. How does that help you? Maybe it's right? I mean, maybe you're absolutely correct, but is anyone else going to see that? Yeah, you could be 100% correct. Die on that hill, pick that battle to say, nope, I ain't doing that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay to have someone, watch me watch my kids. You can do that. But what does it do? It fits into the narrative that you're the problem. All right. I think maybe the coffee kicked in too much. Let me see if moderator Debbie put something over on my other screen that I forgot to look at. All right. Yeah, I lost the bubble on a lot of that. So, all's well is very true. That's so true, Duane. 100% always question a person's pity sob story. Absolutely. I do now. I mean, there was a period of time where I'd be like, oh, that's so sad. You've been, you've been the victim. I actually I really hurt my credibility at work once because there was a young lady when we were in the military who was like, it ain't fair. I want to do what I was trained to do. I want to be an electronics technician. And all they do is they make me be the secretary and make coffee and whatever. And I'm like, oh man, that is so messed up. That's not right. So I went to bat for this person and said, oh, hey, Sergeant so-and-so, Airman Fluffy over here. It's just, really wants to work and wants to prove themselves, but they won't let him. I'm like, all right, cool. I need some help. That person was not interested in actually doing any work. That person was interested in being the victim and having everyone feel sorry for them, and was really wanted to do nothing. And I took a hit on that because, whenever the person came over and was a piece of garbage, it was like, hey, Airman Duane, I thought you said this person had their crap together. You vouch for them and they are not. Guys, be careful who you vouch for. I've had someone else do that to me where they vouch for someone. Oh, this person is great. I hired them and it was the worst mistake I ever made. Worst mistake. Well, I guess technically I've made worse mistakes. I'll just say it was a painful mistake. John says, or what, Will, somebody else that said, Duane and Coach Gregory Adams collab. That's what CGA is. You know what, guys? I tell you what, man, if you, I don't know if he would even give me the time of day. But if you guys are familiar with it and somehow throw it out there, maybe he would consider it. You know, I mean, I think he's over 100,000 people and his videos get tens of thousands of views. You know, my videos get hundreds of views. It's like, oh, Duane posted, let's see who posted the latest video. How's that doing? Oh, 600 views. Actually, my views are down, to be honest. But anyways, I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to doing a collab with him or even with Better Bachelor. I watch more Better Bachelor. I've seen some of CGA, and I just like the Better Bachelor guy. Joker. How does he say it? He goes, I'm Joker. This is, well, I've got let's see, a voice for radio and a picture for, I remember, whatever. It's like, I got a face for radio and a voice for print. It's hilarious. It was funny. After a while, he tried to change that for a while, because he started getting bigger and people are like, man, you're ragging on yourself. You know, don't be saying that. And I think what he finally did is like, screw it. I don't care, you know? And it's just funny, right? I mean, it's funny. He's actually a decent looking dude, and he's got face for radio, and voice for print. Yeah. All right. I normally don't push other people's stuff like that. He's more of a men's channel, and he's talking about the bad apples. But he's not I don't consider him a woman hater, right? He just has a different philosophy from his own personal experience that he does to maximize his life. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even have gone down that topic. I tell you guys, if there's people that you would like me to interview, sometimes it's helpful whenever the audience is encouraging it for that. Oh, iTumblr says shrink for men. I'm trying to remember which one that one is. Is that, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. I'll have to check. I've seen a couple of his CGA's call-in shows. But the only one who I actually listen to, and like I listen through the whole thing, is Better Bachelor. So now my small subscriber list will all jump ship. Anyways. All right. Let's see, what do we got? I completely lost my train of thought on that one. I'm actually going to have to physically go into work today. I have to do face-to-face meetings with all my people. It's basically they're directing us that we have to actually put eyes on people to try to make sure that we don't see anything where they're having extra trouble or problems with everything. So that'll be interesting. So anyways, man, Ear for Men, Paul Elam. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. Tara. Okay. Shrink for Men. I didn't realize who that was. So I was thinking that was the Ear for Men guy or person show, but yeah. Anyways. I actually tried, as Yervand is saying, Dr. Craig Childress, I tried to reach out to him and they wouldn't respond to me. So, part of it is his credibility, I guess, is just getting to where people are like, oh, okay, I know who this guy is and I want to be part of it. All right. On that, thank you so much, guys, for all the support. I really appreciate it. Scrolling up the list of channel members right now, I really, that you guys don't know how much that helps. Even the lower tiers, it just helps keep the lights on and pays for whenever the phone system needs to be refreshed. On that, have a great rest of your day, and I will be back here tomorrow.